One of the stupid things that my abusive mentor priest type person did was criticize my clothes. Now, I know before anybody's like, oh, that's so petty, feeling traumatized by her scrutinizing your clothes. You know, what a baby, what a walnut. One of the problems that I had back then was I didn't have a whole lot of money. I made a lot of my own clothes. I didn't have a whole lot of clothes. I had gained a bunch of weight, so a lot of clothes didn't fit very well. I did a lot of cooking and cleaning. I would drop stuff on myself. I would not have the forethought to wear like a bib or an apron, and my clothes would end up with stains. And I wore a lot of lighter colors because that was a preference, and they would end up with stains on them. And now I get that maybe, I shouldn't have been walking around in public that way, but it was it would have been one thing if she just said, hey, you need to wear cleaner clothes. We need to figure out the stains. We need to go shopping. We need to figure out getting you some nicer things. That would have been one thing. Stain removal, better table manners. Maybe I needed to start wearing a bib and an apron, which I kind of do now. But she took it over the top. She would fake being possessed by Loki to not only get on my case about the stains, but then it had this added layer of, I want you to dress goth. I want you to wear red and black. She wanted me to basically look like a goth edgelord like her, because that's what Loki apparently preferred, was everybody wear like red and black, look like this goth edgelord, German dungeon corn, industrial Rammstein style freaking aesthetic. And we're talking about a trickster god, okay? This guy probably has a shoe collection that rivals the Kardashians. And in fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if he had more shoes than the Kardashians, and his wardrobe would make them jealous. I've seen Loki in greens and blues and Technicolor. He likes red and black, but he also likes green, and he also likes orange. I've even heard from some people that he even likes purple. Why would he want all of his followers to look the same? That's boring. But that's besides the point. She didn't like the way I dressed, period. My clothes probably could have been clean and pristine, and she still would have found fault with them just so she could get me to dress and look like her. She got on my case about it so much. After all was said and done, I became very paranoid, like OCD about. Even to this day, it still kind of affects me just a little bit, where if I spill even water on myself, I get a little bit worried it's gonna stain. She still acts traumatized about the stains on my clothes. She was pathological about it. She called me a stain pinafore, along with spreading other nasty rumors about me to make me sound like a pervert after all was said and done. Like, yeah, it may sound small, but she used it to try and transform me into something I was not. She even tried to tell me that a former friend who became my enemy, because that friend was also narcissistic, that Loki said that person was making fun of my stains, was making fun of the stains on my clothes. So she would say that Loki had a problem with it, when at the time, I just wasn't in the best place, admittedly. The takeaway is that a deity might ask you to change for the better, but there were better ways in which she could have handled the situation rather than faking being possessed by a deity, and then using it to justify why it was okay to act the way she did. Clothing stains are not justification for abuse or lying or deception.